fantastic. This is GT racing right now.
He's got traction, he's going around the outside of both of them! Maloney!
Oh, he's taken Anderson! Anderson's up to
Oh my god!
Big crash! Oh my goodness, half the field's gonna get rolled!
Second very close. These guys are want to make their way through the field very quickly.
Oh, there we go!
Oh no! That's massive! This is it! This is over! I can't believe this! Oh my god!
God, what?
This is memes. This is wanting to end your existence multiple times. This is Maxx Bantz. This is something that's been going on for a couple of years now, and it's something that we're very proud of here at SimSpeed TV. And we're proud to present you this complete and utter I'm struggling to find a way to describe this without saying a bad word. This is meant to be the worst possible sim racing event, and we've tried many different formats over the years to try and make things as bad as possible for the drivers out on track. For this one, Maxx Bantz 9, The Rise of Democracy, we're taking things a couple of steps further. My name is Reese Gardner. Joining me in the commentary box is Jay Kennedy. Jay, it's the 9th time we've queued up for Maxx Bantz. We're in the old Riley Daytona prototype at Virginia International Raceway, the Grand West layout. And you know, on the surface, looks like, oh, it's a pretty good car track combo, right?
Yeah, 100%. And the update to the car with the new tyre model as well has meant that the car's actually behaving quite well, but of course you've come out there with your magic and ruined the setup. Sperry's ruined it as well with adding some weight in, so it's turned a fun car into a horrible car. A track that isn't, I mean, Virginia's a great track to drive, but this is probably the worst version to drive of it, the Grand West version, so memed it up in that way, and because we're running the older car, we thought we'd break out the old overlays because I couldn't be bothered updating any new ones, so it's fair. This is now Maxx Bantz 8/9/5/4. You'll see all sorts of Easter eggs around what Maxx Bantz is throughout the night.
Yes, indeed. So, yeah, that number on the bottom right corner is a lie. It's trying to mislead you. Don't believe it. This is Maxx Bantz 9. So we'll have to see how that goes over the course of this event. We're in qualifying at the moment. Just under 3 minutes to go. We'll go through briefly the event format. Yes, the car has been messed up by me. Yes, Sperry has put another 250 kilograms of weight ballast on this thing, so the lap times are super slow. But the real catch is in what happens during the race. Qualifying isn't going to matter a huge amount because at any point during the race session, there's no catches usually. You just drive normally, race as you would, but, you know, you can be a bit rough and tumble about it. It is Maxx Bantz after all. But keep an ear out for race control on the in-game chat, because Sperry might say, I am the Senate. When he says that, every driver out on track has to get to the nearest pit lane as fast as possible. There's 2 pit lanes here at VIR. There's one on the main straight, one on the back straight. You have to get into one of them as quick as you can. Last person in the pit lane gets eliminated. That also counts if you're a lap down, and if you're already in the pits for any reason at the time I am the Senate is called. Seems a bit complicated when it's explained verbally, but it'll work out quite simply when we're in the race. Sperry says his thing, get to a pit lane.
Yep, and you can't just hang around at a pit entry waiting for it. So that can catch you out there too. You can't drive around real slow to try and get to the pit entry, but the other thing with it is you can shortcut the track, you can punt other cars off to get to the spot that you want to get to, and you can do whatever you like to get to that pit lane. The only downfall to that is you cannot get any black flags cleared, so you have to be a bit careful about that. So you actually see a few drivers actually practicing pit entry as opposed to doing qualifying runs. Ross Rizzo on screen, he spent the entire practice session not practicing the track. He was finding out where all the shortcuts where he could get away with. I think that's very, very smart strategy.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, these kinds of events force you to take a bit more of a lateral thinking view towards driving around a circuit like this. You see him going around the circuit pretty normally at the moment, but yeah, Ross Rizzo, he always tries to find the little intricacies you can exploit and take advantage of. That's why he is such a successful driver in the GT scene here in Oz NZ. But that kind of skill is not going to matter all that much for him. He sets a 2-minute 30.276, and that puts him up into P1 on the qualifying timesheets. But honestly, I don't think there's much point to those qualifying timesheets because the number is going to be massively jigged up by the time we get to the end of this event. 2 previous Maxx Bantz champions making an appearance tonight as well. Eric Antilli, who won the last one, and Mia Ott, who took a Maxx Bantz victory some time back. And those are the conditions out on track, sorry. Reasonably cool track, so bit of grip available to the drivers and no humidity either. Look at that wind though.
You actually saw in the practice session, the wind tipped up to the highest I've ever seen at iRacing. 52 kilometers an hour it tipped that at one point. So I honestly had never seen it that high. So incredibly strong winds out there. So be cool to see how high that can get throughout the race. And yeah, there's another Easter egg on screen for you if you do notice it. So Maxx Bantz 4 according to the overlays, so it's been a little while since I've updated that one. And we're running the old overlays, as I said, because it's been a big few weeks here, and last thing I really wanted to do was go and update overlays today, so I decided not to.
I mean, why update overlays for Maxx Bantz?
I mean, it's a meme anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. This is the ultimate excuse to be a complete slacker at everything you do,
100%.
And you can sit back and just say, hey, it's for the memes.
Well, remember, there was the one that I forgot to update the bottom of the screen there where it was the Maxx Bantz, and we actually used that as part of the meme for the next one. So, yeah, I mean, it has to be done in that way. But qualifying is underway. Just saw Adam Briggs there blow an engine, so he's not going to want to do that come race time. There's a couple of drivers still actually trying to do legitimate laps at the moment. Ben Anthony is one of them. He's going to do a 3-minute lap time, so probably ran off the circuit at some point.
Yeah, and that time has not been registered on the timesheet, so not a legitimate one. And that grass runoff area down at Turn 1, I think, is going to be very popular for many drivers. JC Richards also making an appearance, and my goodness, we get a face full of some very iconic liveries. Everyone's pulled out all the stops once again for Maxx Bantz paint jobs. We've seen a good variety of very mentally stimulating content on a lot of cars, but not that one. That's just boring.
Yeah, Jamie Stovold's just decided to go plain black. I mean,
disappointing.
Matte black for Maxx Bantz, so I guess the initials match, so that's about it. But yeah, hopefully we'll see a little bit better for the next one.
We shall.
I'm sure we will. But yeah, a little bit of a smaller turnout tonight, but I think that in a way will be good for this format because it'll make the drivers really be on their toes. The less drivers that are out there, the more likely you are to get removed from the event by being the last car into the pits. So that will move things along a little bit quicker, I think. So smaller field should make it a little bit more interesting. As we were sort of saying, this is the only part of the event. The times will actually matter at all because we won't even need overlays on who's out on track or who's in what position because there's technically no positions. If you do go a lap down, you do get disqualified or removed from the event, but other than that, there's no real rules to this event at all.
And that's it. And here is the starting grid, and I've got all of these down on a notepad in front of me so I can cross them off when they get eliminated, Jay. Ross Rizzo starts on pole position, Adam Briggs joining him on the front row, Sam Gunston and Sean O'Hara on row 2, Jamie Stovold and Mia Ott line up 5th and 6th, Michael Spithill and Thomas Smith rounding out the top 8. These were the only drivers to actually set times in the qualifying session.
Yes, and Nils Stenkowski starts 9th, Gabriel LD. Erdeli? Have I got that right? Erdeli?
Erdeli, I think.
Erdeli? Gabrielle?
Gareth Robshaw
Zhang
being
Zilin?
qualified in qualifying. It is very simple. We have executed order 66.
There we go. First person eliminated already. DQ
Yeah.
from qualifying. So, first one gone. We got Tom
Gareth
Frere,
Robershaw, I think.
Lorenzo Bodnar and Lichtenberg. Then we've got Bass and Crisdale. Just trying to see if we are a rolling start or a standing
It is a
start.
rolling start.
Okay, so we've got a lot of time because this is going to be a very, very, very slow and long rolling start.
Yeah, certainly is. As we go through the final few spots on the grid, it's a 24 car field or thereabouts for this running of Maxx Bantz, the 9th edition. And yeah, I've just noticed, Jay, you've got the one for number 8 up the top of this one. So nice touch, very nice touch.
Yep. Well, it's just that I haven't touched, I think, is more the thing.
True. You know, sometimes conversely or hypocritically, I sometimes think it's a little bit more work to create an everlasting series of memes born out of laziness, but what do I know?
Well, we know that we've created this. Well, you and
Yes.
Sperry have. I've just helped make it worse.
Simon Mazzomo as well should be credited with helping to germinate the seed of Maxx Bantz. We never credit him because that's just another one of the memes. But Simon Mazzomo was there when the plan for Maxx Bantz was hatched all the way back in 2017, 2018.
Can't even remember when it started. So yeah, probably was way back then. But I must say this safety car, the pace car, that driver really needs to learn how to change gears.
Yeah, it's physically painful for me listening to that flat 6 hitting the limiter the whole time. You want to be able to make that car last long, but one thing that I do think is, as the safety car driver, depending on how many people get eliminated, he may actually have a chance at winning this one. So I think he's just keeping the engine warm.
This is the first legitimate chance he's had of winning a Maxx Bantz.
Well, he'll lead most of a formation lap at the very least. And speaking of cautions, actually, we should point out that once the field gets under 9 cars, Jake Sperry, our race admin, has the power to call a caution and bring the field back together for the final dying moments of the race.
Interesting to see how that mixes up the field as well. So, I mean, it could really help someone that is about to go a lap down as well. They could be caught behind maybe 1 or 2 pit lanes behind. Of course, there is 3 pit lanes. There are 3 pit lanes at this circuit. So,
oh wait, yeah, there are 3. I completely forgot about the one on the infield.
Yeah, there is the one in the infield, which is a very, very small one. Drivers have been testing getting into that one, a very, very difficult pit lane to get into. And then you've got the one that they're just driving past here now, where you can see that beautiful pit building there. And then, of course, the traditional one is getting very, very familiar with the pace car there.
Yeah, that was our number 72 of Adam Briggs. Ross Rizzo has had a go at cosplaying as the pace car as well.
Coming up to the true meme section of the circuit.
Yep, the infield, and this corner that they're going through right now carries a name that we cannot repeat on the broadcast, and it's a word that starts with B and ends with the letters C and H. And Sperry's rationale for choosing this circuit for this event was that it had a corner by that name. That's the only reason he specified, and that's good enough for me.
Tell you what, I've got an itch. Moment. Sorry, I just had to scratch that bad itch.
I'm sure you did.
Yeah, but this section here is probably the more difficult part because it flows the opposite way do you think it would, if that makes sense. Is that how you would feel about that too? You sort of feel like the circuit would go the opposite direction to how it does?
Yeah, well, the section that they just went through, that chicane, has a bit of an off-camber entry into a sequence of turns that, you know, the first turn in the sequence is a right, and, you know, you come into it thinking it's going to be a left, but this track does mislead you in that way. This section is mostly balancing the throttle in 3rd gear and then coming back out onto the last bit of the back straight before we come through the final sequence of turns on the proper circuit.
Yep, down through roller coaster into Hog Pen.
That's what it's called.
Roller
I was waiting
coaster.
for you to say that. No, the Hog Pen.
Hog Pen. Final corner.
Yep. Yep, I completely forgot what the name of that corner was. I was relying on you to save me there, Jay, and you did. I appreciate
About time
that.
I'm good for something around here.
Yeah, about time. It's
I
only
am
been,
the
what, 10 years? Whoa, Sperry's just
Whoa!
said, I am the Senate. Right
Safety car's
as
in
the green
first.
flag flies, so in goes everyone. And it looks like the people at the back of the field are going to be the ones. Last one in the pits is Brent Jones. He's out already. No,
LW
actually,
Adamek,
no.
the
LW
time
Adamek.
has come.
There he is.
He is the last car
Order
into the pits.
66.
Order 66 has been executed, and we are one car less already.
You are clear to resume.
And they've been given the all clear to resume racing. So lap 1 of Maxx Bantz 9 gets going as everyone exits the pits, and there's a traffic jam at pit exit. We've already got a couple of cars with damage. Jeffrey Collinson and Alex Constantine missing a front end entirely. He's spun, and it's a big crash coming out of the pits, and he's on his roof.
Few drivers that I think are serving some black flags as well, which could make it interesting if there's a call for I'm the Senate in the next few moments. There's another incident at Turn 1. We said that Turn 1 was going to be an interesting section of the circuit. It's a few cars off the circuit there.
The penalty-serving cars are now out of the pits, so Ross Rizzo, Sean O'Hara, Niels Sentkovsky, Jamie Stovall, they are all back out onto the circuit. Thomas Smith is travelling quite slowly, and I think he's got some very heavy damage. Only travelling around at about 40 kilometers an hour.
Either that or the engine's not running in that car.
There's always potential for that. There's still a bit of racing going on. Jamie Stovall scything his way through the field. Just got past JC Richards coming through the S's. A little bit of contact between Brent Jones and Gabriella Delier as well in the S's section. So people are already finding some battles. But all the way up the front, Adam Briggs is the one out on his lonesome leading.
Brent Jones just got spun by JC as well, and yeah, there's a fair bit of damage to that car. And they do have one spare car, one fast repair left. Adam Constantine also looks like he may be done. So had to escape back to the pit. So Matthew Norris and Mia Ott have just come together as well, coming into the infield.
Yeah, Ott's just gotten going again at Lorenzo Bonda also getting going as well, who was involved in that incident. Another I am the Senate call has been made. So we'll see how close the cars are to any conceivable pit lane. Everyone who's on the back stretch can go to the back stretch pit lane. But you already see everyone on the infield as well trying to make their way to the infield pit lane as fast as they can.
Stankowski's in trouble. Otto, he might be okay.
Or maybe Gabriel Adelier is still making his way towards the pits.
Ross Rizzo's in trouble here. He's missed the pit entry. He's going to be the last car. Ross Rizzo is going to be the one out here.
Oh, he's got to try and get across here. Oh, can he make it back onto the circuit?
This is a race between he and O'Hara.
Oh.
JC Richards also not in.
Yeah, so is it going to be Ross Rizzo or JC Richards?
JC Richards is gone.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the end of it for him.
JC Richards.
Wasn't running in 9th.
Thomas Smith, the time has come. Execute order.
Wait.
Thomas Smith's still going.
Thomas Smith still going as well. I don't think Sperry is... Oh, it looks like Thomas Smith was a bit further away from the nearest pit lane than JC Richards was. He wouldn't have made it in anyway.
Yep.
All right.
23 left now.
So JC Richards has gotten away with it, only just.
Alex Constantine also has been told he is out, which we sort of figured considering he was stuck in the pit lane.
So crossing off the list there now, Constantine.
JC Richards out too.
66.
Yeah, it looks like Sperry's decided that JC Richards is out of this one too. Of course, no one person can keep track of everyone who's out on the circuit. So JC's just laying some rubber down to mark his territory before he gets the black flag. Oh, on-track pass between Eric Intilly and Robert Crisdale. That is for... car off, Eric Intilly. So just going off into the gravel trap there, and it was Ethan Bass who was battling very hard there.
They're still going at it too, these guys.
Yeah, Rob Crisdale, one of the guys that's quite active in our community, and coming across the track there. Ethan Bass manages to sneak on by, so he's now up into second place in the running.
Good news
Got
is
Ross
that Ross Rizzo's out, so he finally got. He actually had a 1:24 stop and hold penalty. So and he spun on the way back out. Also just seen Sean O'Hara still stopped as well. Who of course Sean O'Hara, he was battling to get into the pits. As this driver's now legitimately cutting the course, I think, to try and get as close as they can to the pits, without being too obvious that that's their plan, I think.
Yeah, well, Crisdale and Bass just had a massive smash there, and that's why he's making his way back onto the track at the moment. But yeah, you can see that some drivers are just searching around the circuit for any kind of advantage they can get, any closeness to a potential pit lane. You see, yeah,
they're all stopping, hoping that it's going to get called.
Backing off so that they can just turn around and get straight in there, but they know that they're not quite allowed to do that, so have to keep going.
Adam Briggs out in front also just did the same thing. Now, that's the point you go, oh no, am I going to get pulled up here? Is it going to come out just as I hear the call?
And that's the thing, the call can happen at any time. It came quite quickly the first couple of times, but Sperry's remained silent for a bit here. It's all at random. Ben Anthony testing limits here in the infield section. And this is a very challenging sequence of bends. I am the Senate has come out once again. Okay, so Adam Briggs has only just gone past
the
pit lane.
Briggs is in trouble.
Yeah, he's going to have to wait until the back stretch, and I don't think he'll have much of a chance here, because it looks like everyone's making their way in. We got a bunch of cars headed up by Brendan Lichtenberg.
Daniel Stevens also missed the pit entry, so Daniel Stevens is in a worse spot.
Yeah, really bad spot, and that was a long time after the call was made, so he could have very easily jumped in there. So this might have actually given a bit of a lifeline to Adam Briggs.
Yep.
In comes Sam Gunstone, escaping the wrath of the Emperor. Rob Crisdale's just made his way in. Gabriella Delier has come in. Michael Spithill is safe. Thomas Byrne and Sean O'Hara. Adam Briggs is still out on track.
I wonder if Daniel Stevens is going to shortcut the circuit here to get in the pits and try and beat Adam Briggs.
Yeah.
If he's smart, he'll turn here. Here we go. Turn. He's going to do it.
Yeah, we go. Oh, can he make it into the pit lane from here? Adam Briggs has just managed to get into the infield.
Oh!
Right at the same time.
Briggs was ahead. Briggs ahead by 3/10. Oh, Briggs is gone.
What? No. Sperry is determined that Briggs is the one who entered the pit lane afterwards. So Adam Briggs, your race leader, is gone.
Wow.
Oh,
needed to take that shortcut.
Yeah, it was very lucky there for Daniel Stevens. And I'll bet you Adam Briggs is going to be cursing the fact that he didn't do that. We got to remember, though, for Daniel Stevens, his stop and hold will be quite long. So it's risk versus reward. He stands a chance of having to serve a penalty when the next call is made.
Interesting thing is they've all left pretty much the same pit lane again. So we've got a couple of drivers that are in different pit lanes.
It looks like they're somewhat sticking together in their groups for the most part. I noticed for the first couple of times there were drivers just bashing each other around coming out of the pits, but these guys are sticking with each other quite nicely, probably all just working together so they can all dive in at the same time. We've got a couple of guys coming into the pits as well for repairs and to serve penalties.
Uh-oh.
And there's another call.
Michael
Spithill, Gabriel Delier, and Brendan Lichtenberg have
here we go. Look at the shortcut going on.
been taken out here.
Crisdale, how's that for a shortcut?
My goodness.
Literally
Excellent
gone
stuff.
from the midfield Oh, and they've just pulled it up.
Oh, there we go.
Now, in regards to that last round of pit stops, where I said that Briggs may have been ahead of Stevens, I got told to get my facts out of here. They are irrelevant in this series.
Okay.
So
Well-
this is the whose line is it anyway of sim racing.
Yes, it is. Everything is made up. The
And
rules
facts.
do not matter.
Rules and facts do not matter.
Not at all.
So a couple of drivers
Brendan
still to come in.
Lichtenberg, Gabriel Adelier, and Michael Spithill both were all disqualified instantly when that call was made. Not quite sure on the reason why.
They were all in the pits when the call came out.
Ah,
Brent Jones,
well, that
your
makes
time
it.
has come.
Makes sense. And the last car there on track is Brent Jones. Order 66 has just
You may
been
resume.
executed, and he will be out. No more Brent Jones in this one.
And just like that, we're down to 16 cars.
Already, and we started with about 25. So this is if there's more and more people who are stuck in the pits for repairs or penalties, then we might see field numbers drastically decrease.
Actually, just done another count. We're actually down to 14 cars now. So
Oh. Well, racing resumes. And this is not the kind of race where you see excellent driving being at the forefront or excellent racecraft. We do see a couple of drivers coming into the pits, Daniel Stevens and Matthew Norris. And Stevens is going to have to serve a stop and hold here, and he may potentially be in trouble when the next call is made. Matthew Norris as well going to jump in. A lot
Norris
of
is
the
getting some
cars out
repairs
here.
done.
Oh, yeah. Well, I guess that would help him, just to get his car around the circuit.
Eric Tilly's taken
Whoa.
a big shortcut, or maybe that's a long cut. I'm not sure.
Oh, well, he's managed to get himself back onto the racing surface, which is good to see.
Can't believe
Battles.
how beaten up Ross Rizzo's car is. Have a look at it.
Yeah, it's a bit worse for wear. That classic damage look on the Daytona prototype. I remember that being the case when I first signed up to iRacing almost 10 years ago now. This is such a classic car too. This is one that you know, we certainly have a lot of fond memories of, Jay, with the ABR Sports Car Challenge back in the day, the Grand Am series that SimSpeed broadcasted.
Thursday
This
night
car is-
Grand Am.
Oh yeah.
It's the first ever non-V8 series we broadcast here at SimSpeed. So this car has a lot of memories. This car and the McLaren GT3. It was the first series that we ever did that was non-V8 related, other than Race of Champions and things like that, special events. But yeah, this car's got some amazing memories from back in those days. It's nice to reminisce on those times, but the car definitely had seen its end on the iRacing service in regards to official racing, but from all reports, I've just seen Tom Freer absolutely punt his teammate in Jamie Stovall. Now that's what we want to see.
Yeah, exactly. Teammate drama for sure. Jamie Stovold gets back going with not much visible damage to his
Here we go.
car. Here we go again, Jay.
Daniel Stevens
Senate
gone.
has been
And
called.
Daniel Stevens, your time could come.
And, well, yeah, that means that Matthew Norris and Daniel Stevens, who
Oh,
are still
Ethan
at a
Bass.
standstill in the pits, are out. And
Bass has
in
missed the
trouble.
penalty. He's going to
He's gonna
try and
try
drive
and-
backwards.
Get back in the other end. I'm fairly sure you can do that if you wish.
Just has to worry about the iRacing black flag that he will potentially get.
Yeah, well, I don't think he's been going the wrong way for a long enough time to trigger it, so Bass should be safe. Another guy entering a pit lane the wrong way was Mia Ott. Oh, I shouldn't say guy in that respect. Mia has
I think we
Lorenzo
found our
Bonda,
person that's
You are
out.
stuck in the tires.
Oh,
Therefore, your
no.
time has come.
yes, Lorenzo Bonda's time has come. Oh no!
That's an easy way to decide who's out that time.
Oh, poor Lorenzo.
And
You may
Lorenzo was the last car to make it close to pit entry. Now it's going to be interesting to see, will Ethan Bass actually get a penalty here? Will he have to come back into the next pit lane and serve that penalty?
And we'll have to wait and see, because he's not that far away from the main pit lane of the circuit.
Got to be careful though, because he could have the same issue that Daniel Stevens and also Matthew Norris had.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Very long
something.
stop and hold.
Yeah. Well, potential danger here for Ethan Bass. Is he going to go for the pits?
Confirmed.
Yes, he is. Oh dear. The one place that you actually do want to be at the moment is out on track.
Yep.
There were initial doubts when the event format was released that, oh, you know, people are just going to hang around the pit entries. Well, come on, guys. Here at Maxx Bantz, we're prepared for anything. We have technicalities to assist us in runnings like this. Rizzo in the pits as well.
Hasn't left the pit lane yet from the last stop. So, oh, have a look at this. We've actually got racing out on track.
What?
No, come on, guys.
Racing
Stop.
in my Maxx Bantz?
Stop
Thomas
this.
Byrne, you are a lap down, therefore your time has come.
Oh,
Execute order
we have
66.
another car that has had order 66 executed for being a lap down. So Thomas Byrne is now out of the race. You have to be on the lead lap in this one. So unfortunate for Thomas, but he is but the most recent in a long line of fallen in this edition of Maxx Bantz. So Sean O'Hara, the last
Ross
running
Rizzo,
car on track.
you're
Ross Rizzo
Ross
is
Rizzo
now
is out.
out.
66. Sam
Yep.
Gunstone, your time has come.
Sam
You're
Gunstone
66.
is
Mia
out
Ott,
now.
your
All
time
these
has
guys
come.
are in... Oh my
Execute
god,
order
Mia Ott as
66.
well.
Susan
Ethan
Buck, your time has
Bass.
come. Execute order
All of these
66.
drivers that are in the pits right now.
Your time has
The
come.
Senate
Execute order
has been announced, and they are all out now. So that effectively halves the field.
And then there were 6.
Oh my god.
So it's going to come down to that battle pack that we were actually watching before and who's going to make it in first. So got Freya, Collison, Stovald, Senkowski, and Tilly. Eric and Tilly is the last car. Just drive straight ahead, Eric. Do it. Drive straight
Come on,
ahead.
Eric.
No, you're in
No,
trouble.
He's got too much of a conscience. The previous winner of number 8, the last man standing. So it looks like he's going to be the last one in the pits, and that slide is not going to help him.
Eric
Oh.
Intilly,
And there
your
we
time
go.
has come.
With that,
Execute
Eric
order
Intilly
66.
has been disqualified. The son of banter from the previous
You may
running
resume, no
is
need for
out.
safety car.
And the interesting thing is, as Eric has just been disqualified, one thing that the drivers noticed in practice, I'm just going to try and queue up a replay, see if it works. Replay. Come on, button, work.
Come on.
Fixed it. Here we go. Replay. Now,
Yes.
yeah, we know about cones and things like that, movable objects. Watch this immovable object that you would think is movable.
Whoops-a-daisy.
That sign is not movable. So we've only got 5 cars left. This
When you
is
say stop, you mean stop, right?
literally stop. If you don't stop for the sign will stop you. So then there were 5. Freya,
Yeah.
Collison, Senkowski, Stovald, and O'Hara.
Oh, Collinson just tried getting ahead and spun. So that's concertinaed all these guys up, and it's put Collinson at a massive disadvantage. He actually did quite an epic cut of the chicane, but spun as soon as he got back onto the tarmac. But yeah, back to what you were saying, Jay. Sean O'Hara
Is
currently in the box seat.
Yeah, well, he's in a good spot in most aspects because for a lot of the track, well, he's by himself, which is, I think, is a really good thing for him. But if it's called at the wrong spot, you could be in trouble. But these guys get past the pit lane and then it's called, he's safe for another lap.
I am.
Here we go.
Here we go. It's
Just
a
as you
race.
say that, Jay,
It is a
it's going to
race.
be a huge race. Well, it looks like O'Hara is going... Oh, there we go.
Oh no,
Here's
watch
one
out for
or
the
two.
tyres. You got
No,
him.
Jeffrey, get it done. Just get around it and you'll be fine. Sean O'Hara is close to the backstretch pit lane, so he is going to make it in. But those other
Collinson's
4
in.
guys... Yeah, all right, cool. Collinson is safe, but now...
who's gonna
we've gotta
shortcut?
think. Yeah, it's Tom Freer and Nils Sentkovsky out on track.
Go
At the
straight
moment,
ahead,
Jamie
straight ahead, straight ahead.
Stovald.
Come on, someone do it.
Looks like they're not. What's Tom Freer going to do? He's coming up to the turn-off
Now
to
remember,
the infield.
we saw Daniel Stevens do the turn-off before, but that ended up costing him because he had a 3-minute stop-and-hold penalty for shortcutting the course. So that might be a move that you save for the last lap, but I think straight across here might be the go.
They're
Stenkowski,
not
get a
doing
go.
it.
No.
What about Stovold? He's far behind these guys. He stands to gain the most here.
He's got no choice. He has to do it.
Yeah.
Got to
But
try.
It looks like...
Go for it.
no, he's not.
Yes,
This
he is.
Oh, wait. Yep.
Go for it. Hit him.
Olsenkovsky and
Oh!
Freya are in.
Your
There we go.
time has come. Execute order.
In a truly epic fashion, Jamie Stovold fails to make it into the pits and is
They resume.
disqualified. And then there were 4.
Well, this may be the shortest Maxx Bantz we've had since 1.
Yeah.
Which, what we went for 80 odd minutes, I think, the first one. So,
Yeah, something
which of course
like
we
that.
had. It was the Mustang we had around Zandvoort for that first
Yep.
one. Yep. Short 10-minute races, back to back to back.
That was a fun format.
Was.
I reckon returning to something like that at some point in the future would be nice.
Oh, did
Oh,
you
my
see
goodness.
how close Sean O'Hara was to looping the car there? And Sean O'Hara's actually in trouble. He's about to go a lap down here. If Tom Freya gets ahead, he will go a lap down. So Sean
O'Hara is really struggling here to
O'Hara
keep the
has
car
to hold
going.
on.
He's on the verge of falling a lap down here, but you can see that he's really struggling with the rear end of the car. Looks like my fixed setup worked, but he's really blocking hard now, and these two could potentially come together, Freya and Senkovsky. Freya serves O'Hara a little bit of a tap. Jeffrey Collinson is currently the odd man out here. He's on the other side of the circuit, just coming up to the back stretch pit lane.
O'Hara has to drive the wheels off this car right now.
Oh no.
Here we go. This is the cue
he's
the Jaws
really
music.
blocking- Oh no! There we go, he's done!
I am the Senate.
And just as that happens, I am the Senate is called. So now, Tom Freya faces quite the challenge, because Neil Senkovsky could get to the pits before him.
100%.
Sean O'Hara is officially out of this one. Jeffrey Collinson just coming through the infield, so he'll be able to make it into the infield pit lane. But we don't know about Tom Freya and Neil Senkovsky here. Senkovsky is at the disadvantage.
Senkovsky should be okay because Freya's a fair way behind and fairly heavily damaged. So one way or another, we're left with 2 cars. Yeah, Collinson's in the pit, so he's safe. He's in our final 2. Freya.
There we go,
And
Freya
Freya
with the big
shortcuts. Here we go.
Oh,
Love
yeah.
it. Straight
Big
through the
fat cut.
S's. Oh, that's wall. Watch out if you're
Nah.
that toilet there. He's gone. Tom Freya will
yeah.
be gone.
Yeah, he certainly will. He's not going to make it across in time. Neil Senkovsky's just coming across now and into the pits. So there we go.
I'll tell you
Tom
what, he did a
Freya.
good job of getting pretty close.
Yeah, he did what unfortunately Jamie Stovold could not, but he didn't do it in time. Order 66 has been executed, and the final 2 are here. Neil Senkovsky versus Jeffrey Collinson.
I'll tell you what, this has been a lot more fun of a format than I was originally thinking it was going to be. I thought this was going to be painful, it was going to take forever, but I think the fact that if you were already in the pits and guys were getting penalties, I think that has sped it up a lot more than we were originally expecting.
Yeah, I would agree. It's turned out to be quite the quick Maxx Bantz. We're only just coming up to the half-hour mark, and the next call will decide the winner. So this is the shortest Maxx Bantz in existence. I mean, we were expecting that the last clean race, or the incident points strike back, the one where there was only 1 incident point at Spa in the Lotus 49, we thought that that one would be over fairly quickly, but it
Lasted
went on for
over
quite
an
a
hour.
while. Yeah. So
Those
you
last
can-
2 cars were the ones that just seemed to keep going. Considering we lost, 4 cars before the start line, we thought it was going to be over within 10-15 minutes, but just kept going, that one.
Yeah, shows the resilience of sim drivers and how the opposite can eventuate from a format that you think is going to either be really quick or really long, and that's proved to be the case with this one. The I am the Senate call will be very convenient here for Neil Senkovsky. You see, he tried to go for the pits there in the hope that it would be called. And he's going to try and move towards every one of those pit entries. Jeffrey Collinson, he's just come past the infield pit lane.
No,
Oh,
not quite
actually,
yet.
he's just
No.
coming up to it.
They're just going through
No.
the S's and down the hill towards Oak Tree.
Oh my goodness, this track looks the same from a lot of angles. It's very difficult for me to tell which part of the track I'm actually looking at. But the I am the Senate call will be very convenient right now for Jeffrey Collinson, but no, nothing doing for now. And how long is Sperry going to wait before he makes this call? I would reckon he'd want them to be roughly equidistant from their closest pit lane.
Nils is slowing down in the hope that it's called so that he can sneak across that bit of track there. But oh, here we go.
Here we go. I am the Senate has been called for the final time. Nils Sentkovsky immediately goes backwards.
Oh, here we go. Get on the track, Nils. This is going to be close.
Trying to make his way to the infield as fast as possible. Where's Collinson? He's trying to make his way through.
Oh no,
here.
Collinson's off.
Oh, Sentkovsky, he's managed to get it on. He is in the pits. Jeffrey Collinson is out. Nils Sentkovsky is your Maxx Bantz 9 champion. He is a son of banter. He will receive the WinRAR trophy, the most prestigious JPEG in all of sim racing. Look at how happy he is. He's so ecstatic in that cockpit, Jay.
Whoa.
Ah.
I've got to get an onboard replay of that because that was a very, very good jump. But, I mean, the WinRAR trophy has somehow become very prestigious within the sim racing community. I don't know how, but it has. But watch this jump here. This is incredible.
And well, Collinson goes into the pits, realizes, nah, I'm done. Okay, I'm just going to take the guy out now. Let's see what it looks like from the onboard. Head-on collision. He sees the sky. Oh, I feel a bit sick looking at that.
He gave it a good crack at trying to take Nils out, but congratulations to Nils. Now I've got to find where the WinRAR trophy is. Let me find it.
It's always on my PC, and he will receive it when he comes in here for his celebratory driver interview, which, well, I'm a bit disappointed. I thought that was going to be Nils, but it's just Sperry. What are you doing here?
Well, I'm here just like everyone else is. I'm here to celebrate what was a fantastic achievement from Nils Sentkovsky to survive the gauntlet of 25 other drivers and one driver who got disqualified in qualifying to come around and win what was a sensational event.
Yeah, well, it turns out, Sperry, this may be the shortest running of Maxx Bantz in history. We just barely made it half an hour.
Well, I have to say that with every event, it is down to the driver's capabilities of understanding what the meta is of the event of Maxx Bantz to understand how quickly or how slowly an event goes. And it proved to show that about 14 people, over half of the people, got eliminated in pit lane.
Yes, indeed. That's one of the things that that we never quite considered. I mean, it was going to be a factor in the event coming into it, but I think I underestimated just how much of an effect it would have. We basically had half the field eliminated in one go at one of those points.
We certainly did, and this is the thing. Every driver is desperately trying to get themselves over the line into pits, survive one more go. If they find themselves down in pit lane, then the issues very much start adding up. And I think with this format, it can be very quick fire, very quickly, depending on the drivers. But if you keep a level head and know where you are on track, and maybe there's a bit of fortune involved in that as well, I think you find that Maxx Bantz can be one of the most entertaining formats you can see in a sim race anywhere on the sim racing sphere.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're certainly not going to stop. We're already thinking about plans for Maxx Bantz 10. Unfortunately, Sperry, we've run out of Star Wars titles to riff on, so we're going to have to change our tack a little bit.
We are, and that's not ideal in terms of what we are trying to do and achieve and the fact that we've run out of Star Wars. But what we could say is that this Maxx Bantz was a send-off. I think a lot of people will say for how Star Wars has been as a series, as a lineal series, and that goes on into many different areas that it will try and explore in the future. But it does leave ourselves with some more open opportunities, and I am, for one, very happy to look at things and go, well, it's time to experiment with pop culture.
Yes, indeed, and we'll have a long list of Maxx Bantz titles for you to peruse as they come out and as we think of them, because we don't really put a lot of time and effort into it ages before the event.
That's obvious with how good we've done tonight in regards to overlays and everything.
Yeah, exactly right. But I mean, like, regardless of how much preparation we put in, regardless of whether or not our event champion is actually going to show up to talk to
Too
us
busy
and
doing
receive his
donuts.
this has certainly been a fantastic event, one for the ages once again, and I can't wait to go back through and look at all the liveries that were submitted. We saw some great liveries submitted once again.
I have to agree once more. I think that you've seen some brilliant work being done on the liverings. I believe Neil Sankowski has his own
Yes.
face on the car, which I don't know how much of an ego trip you can go through, but if you can win with your own face all over the car, I think you have to say you deserve everything that you can get. As at this point in time, I do believe we have our Maxx Bantz champion in alongside with us, Reese.
We do indeed. Welcome, Neil Sentkovsky. And wow, how happy do you feel after that? Do you feel absolutely elated, or do you feel like okay, that was a thing that happened?
It definitely wasn't just a thing that happened. Without a doubt, the greatest achievement in sim racing for me. Over the moon. It's just awesome to be a son of Banta after trying. I don't know how many times I've tried, but finally achieve it. It's awesome.
Well, as I speak, I have clicked upload in Discord messages, and you should receive your copy of the prestigious JPEG WinRAR trophy. You can hang that on your fridge next to your crayon drawings, Nils. Your approach to this event. What kind of preparations, what kind of mindset were you putting yourself into coming into this? Because we knew that there were 3 pit lanes around this circuit that you could use. It was all about which one you were the closest to.
Yeah, well, yesterday my whole preparation was to play Need for Speed the whole day to get kinda in the mood for this event. I think it worked quite well. Yeah, and then for the race, it was just trying not to get black flags by cutting the course, because I can't afford having like 40-second stop and goes or something. So yeah, just be in a group, be ahead of somebody, and be pretty much directly behind somebody, and then just slow down whenever you get near pit lane. But once you're past, just speed up again until you get to the next possible point when the Senate is called. So yeah.
Yeah, well, it seems like a pretty simple strategy to work through in a race situation, but the randomness of it certainly caught a few drivers out. Nonetheless, Niels, it was a great performance from you, and just like every Maxx Bantz, luck had its chance to play, but you can count yourself as a son of banter. Are there any shout outs that you want to give before we let you go?
Yeah, shout out to my teammates at Vanderbilt Sim Racing for always working great, even if it's not for this event. I've tried to get some on board, but they didn't want to, so please on that part. But yeah. Also shout out to our sponsors, Simo Cube, Draw Ones, and Falco, who aren't on the card today, but anyway, supporting us, and thanks to them.
Thank you very much, Nils Sentkovsky, and a message to all the other members of Vendaval. Get in on this, man. Join Nils. You could potentially have a few sons of banter in the team. Well, at the end of all of that, that is the end of proceedings for tonight, guys. And it's time for us to say goodbye, but only for another 13 weeks, because Maxx Bantz gets held every iRacing week 13. So you'll have a bit more torture to indulge yourselves in a couple of months' time.
Cannot wait for the next one. They have been, majority have been fun, but this one was really, really exciting and entertaining and caught me a lot by surprise. So yeah, looking forward to seeing what Sperry's messed up mind will come up with next time.
Yes, indeed. And you should see that in about 10 weeks' time or something like that, when Sperry pokes me and gets me to do the trailer. So we say goodbye. We say thank you. We say a big old hello goodbye to everybody who's tuned in for this one. We hope you enjoyed the somewhat sloppy show that we put on today, but
That was
tune
the
in
plan.
for a lot more professional stuff here at SimSpeed TV. And on our friends over at the iRacing Esports Network. We've got a lot of racing for you on this channel and others. My name is Reese Gardner, Jay Kennedy joining me on the commentary and on cameras as well. From all of us at SimSpeed TV, it's bye for now. May your blah, 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 blah. May your Bantz be maxed. I got it right.
This is fantastic. This is GT racing right now.
He's got traction. He's got really outside of both of them. Maloney.
Oh, he's taking Anderson. Anderson's up to
Oh
him.
my God. Big crash. Oh my goodness. Half the field's going to get rolled.
Second very close. These guys are want to make their way through the field very quickly.
Oh, there we go. Oh no.
That's massive. This is it. This is over. I can't believe this. Oh my God.